where the world is going with the currency of what video even is, it's insane. At one point, the way you got super wealthy was with oil and resources like that. And really the new oil is attention. And the skill to hold attention, it's one of the most valuable skills that you can acquire. You don't need a huge following to accomplish incredible things with content, but nonetheless, you do have to get started in some way, shape, or form.
Well, hey, friends, family, this is a live episode of the One Step podcast. And man, we are so glad that you are here today. If we haven't had the chance to meet, my name is Jonathan. I actually currently host the One Step podcast. In case you missed it, today's my birthday and we're going to be celebrating with a fun time. But man, today is going to be way bigger than just a celebration. The whole point of this podcast is to encourage you to no longer wait for one day, but to take one step to create a change. I hope that by the time you leave this conversation, that you will not only be inspired, but equipped to take one step to create a change in your life and also make a contribution when it comes to adding value to others through content, through social media, and so forth. As we're about to transition into our next segment, I have so much to say about this man. I feel like I know this man's inside and out because the amount of hours that I have watched Omar share some free game through his YouTube videos and just his Instagram weekly videos, I wouldn't be where I am today. As far as podcasts, I've gotten equipment and gear and learned how to tell a better story and just everything technical when it comes to thumbnails and titles and learning through all the failure and so forth. I mean, DJ Khaled says, we the best. But I would beg to differ that Omar is actually the best. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love for our good friend, Omar El Takouri.
Jonathan, I appreciate it, man. Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Omar, for being here. I know this is actually the first time we get to meet virtually, but I'm beyond grateful that you're making the time here. And I meant everywhere when I said just the amount of value that you've added to my life through you and your team, through all the videos and content that you produce. Man, you helped me get past so much of a learning curve that had I done it on my own, I don't even know where I would be right now as far as just the podcast and so forth. So I just have so much gratitude for you. But for listeners who may not be as familiar with you, we have plenty of people in our audience from all different lifestyles, backgrounds, beliefs, some currently looking to start creating content for themselves. I'd love to go ahead and ask if you could just share out of your own story. And where did you start and what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people don't know this, because I usually only share it if I'm asked the question. I don't usually say it in like a YouTube video, but I got my start in video in high school. You know how everyone gets an elective or two to select? I just so happened my sophomore year of high school, this was like 2006, I believe, and I selected broadcast journalism. And this was the elective that you made the morning announcements. And so you were put in a team and you were given a day in the week, and it was your team's job to handle all the news announcements on that day. And the way it worked, it was like you would shoot it before school would start and then it would play like second period. What I found was so fascinating was just, I found the process of creating video something that just accelerated time. Like I would look down at my watch and be like, oh snap, like 3 hours just went by. It felt like 15 minutes went by, and it was a different time then as far as like how you would make a video. You know, we captured on tapes and then you had to like capture it into Premiere and for like real time. So for every second it had to be captured, and then you would edit it and then you would capture it back onto a tape. I don't know, it's just funny like thinking back. And I remember when the Nikon, I think D9 was released, and it was like, oh dang, this like photography camera can like shoot movies. You know, I just like being able to achieve like that blurry background and stuff. Wow. So I say all that to say that was kind of how I got my start, and I just stuck with it. You know, I bought a camera to start vlogging with. I downloaded an editing software illegally because I was in high school. And in all honesty, I think what you sense if you were to watch some of the videos I've created, or if you follow me, I think you get a sense that like I know what I'm talking about. And I think that's just simply because I never quit. And not by quit, like I didn't like give it up. I just stuck with the same craft, right? And so I think a lot of people think I'm gifted, and I would actually just say I've just stuck with something for a very long time. And I didn't know. I mean, I think this is like a very God thing of my life, that where the world is going with the currency of what video even is, it's insane. You know, I was watching a video earlier today. This guy I follow, I love to follow him. His name's Alex Hermosi, kind of new entrepreneur on the scene. He made a really cool video about like what's the next wave of billionaires. And at one point, it was like oil. Like the way you got super wealthy was with oil and resources like that. And really the new oil is attention. And the skill to hold attention, it's one of the most valuable skills that you can acquire. He believes like Mr. Beast is probably going to be worth $100 billion one day. And even just to see Dwayne Johnson become someone who can start a tequila company and have it valued at like $3 billion. Like this is all because they've learned to acquire attention over time, and they've learned to hold attention. And so I feel like I have a huge part to play in this I guess you could say movement. You can call it a wave. You can call it whatever it is. But I would even encourage those that are listening or watching this that this is possible. Like that this is something that you can actually tap into. You don't need to buy, a special, I don't even know where you get oil, but like how you like passed down by generations and generations. Like, no, you can tap in into what the future of where the economy is going. And the idea of the creator economy is a crazy concept. Okay. So, YouTube started 2004, something like that. But then it just was like a place where you just posted videos. But like now being on a channel where we teach this stuff, we're seeing like crazy things. Like we're seeing companies that were created to serve creators being valued at hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Like that was really quick. I think that like Epidemic Sound would be like a good example. Right. They literally just came on the scene to create royalty-free music. This is like a new type of business to serve what is called the creator economy. And there's this article that was released that the fastest growing small business type is not a Subway, it's not a Starbucks, it's not a brick and mortar, it's a content creator. Like that's the fastest growing small business type. There's something to say about that. A very quick way to turn something that you're passionate about or gifted in or have some subject matter expertise in and turn it into a potential full-time living. And because it can serve you as a job, it's crazy. Sometimes we just get caught up in the day in and day out of content creation, but like Think Media has over 20 people behind the scenes of what you see on the channel. Like we have customer service, we have marketing department, we have HR, we have admin assistants, we have editors, like all because of what we find ourselves in this creator economy. And so I'm excited to just, share a little bit on my heart on how you can get started. And so you like don't get too overwhelmed, but that's kind of how it all started. And that's kind of where we got to today. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. And just for context for everybody, like Omar and the Think Media team are a pretty big deal. I mean, you listed out some big names, and you actually shared the same platform with Alex Hormozy at your most recent conference. This is a big deal. And what I love though is how you didn't just end up there overnight. You listed out some big names earlier, like The Rock and all these different influencers that have such great attention on them. I think oftentimes we can look at these big names, see where they're at today, and get discouraged. Well, I cannot get there. How in the world could I ever get to that point? Or in other words, how could I ever achieve any sort of success in a greater extent? What I love about your story and your journey is you started out literally with not the best equipment, and you worked your way through staying consistent, and you just never quit. And mind you, creating content has different extents. Like I don't think everybody is necessarily meant to be a full-time get your income from creating content and so forth. I think it's a big part, don't get me wrong. Like you said, it's a big part of the creator economy. But if your passion is anything else, whether it was music or real estate or anything else, creating content and video and so forth, it can be a resource, a tool. That's a big part of that. That being said, I would just love to go ahead and ask if you could share with us, what are those tips as far as how do we go about starting to create content that adds value?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And just to piggyback on what you said, we find ourselves at Think Media kind of in between the tension of this, helping creators think of themselves as entrepreneurs and helping entrepreneurs or businesses think of themselves as content creators. There is a happy medium because you would probably get a sense from Think Media that we lean toward the education kind of angle where your whole business isn't actually the content. It's just actually the top of the funnel to what it is your business is, whether that would be real estate and you're getting leads because you're putting out videos, or whether you love making baking recipes and your YouTube videos meet new people and then they buy your PDF cookbook. So that's the framework. And that's what actually should give you the peace that you don't need a huge following to accomplish incredible things with content. But nonetheless, you do have to get started in some way, shape, or form. And so when it comes to creating content and how to start, I think a lot of people would say, man, you got to just start, and that's like a tagline we actually have in a lot of our videos is like, you got to just press record.
Right.
It's funny because that is true. But contextually, I don't think you should just start. Like, I actually think there's some wisdom when you do plan on starting that you should plan on starting. I believe in the word of God, and there's a scripture in Habakkuk 2:2, and it says, the Lord answered me, write the vision down, make it plain on tablets so that whoever reads it may run with it. And, a lot of people actually get hung up after shooting one video because they didn't even have the plan to begin with. You can get started and just start making videos just to get that muscle out. But we have a ton of people in our community like, bro, I'm on my 100th video and I've seen no traction. I'm like, yo, what's the plan? What's the business behind the channel? What are the topics? Are you taking the time? I believe that, when some people give that advice to quote unquote, just start, I think it's so important that you first start with a plan. And before you even learn how to start, you need to know why you're even starting.
That's so
because the point of this is that you are committed to creating content, right? But it's hard to stay committed to something if you don't have a deep enough reason. And we like to say a lot of the times that your reasons come before your results. So the reason why you might not be getting results after a year from now might just be because you didn't have strong enough reasons to get up and to make that video and to show up and to plan it out and to maybe outline it or maybe do the research. You need a plan, and that plan should involve why you're even doing what you're doing. Simon Sinek has that book, it's Start With Why.
Right.
And that's the premise of that, is just to really boil down why you're doing what you're doing. When you write that why down, you'll be so surprised that you'll meet the people for the reason why you're even doing what you're doing. And hey, maybe your why is actually your family. That's awesome. Maybe your why is to provide. It's gonna be cool when the day that your wife or your kids thank you for the hard work you put in because you wake up every day for them. A why for us, our mission statement at Think Media is to help 10,000 purpose-driven entrepreneurs build a part-time or full-time income using YouTube and online video. A lot of people are like, bro, you guys passed that a long time ago. I don't know. We haven't had 10,000 people actually reach out. So we're just gonna chug along with that. But it's so cool to go to events and actually meet people face to face. And then kind of like how even Jonathan opened this up, dude, I'm meeting people and I'm helping them accomplish the things that are in their heart to accomplish. And it's such a rewarding feeling, and that feedback is super cool. But you got to know why you're even doing it in the first place. Don't just because someone else is doing it, just because they went viral, no, have your reason why you want to do this. My wife just got her real estate license 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm excited. Yeah, no, it's going to be a cool time. She's been raising Ruby, our daughter. She's going to be 4 years old soon, but she felt like it's time to try something new. But also, I love starting from zero. Anytime we can get an opportunity to kind of start from scratch. And so I'm excited to even just, it sounds so bad, use my wife as an experiment. But even her going into real estate, we had deep enough reasons to do it. We want to help young people in our church community find a home. Me and my wife, we don't need the money from real estate, but we could take the time and be patient with the process of helping a young person and walking them through that process. And then another reason is to build something for Ruby in the future. We want investment properties. I want to open up studios. There are things I want to do to serve more people and also create a legacy for my family. So having those deep enough reasons are very important. I hope that hits you in the heart, but I am definitely more of a logical person. And logically, if you think of this like a business, if you think of this like this is going to be a part of your business, you wouldn't start a business just willy-nilly, right?
Right.
You would have a business plan. You would come up with okay, what are the costs? Okay, what is the timeline? How are we going to actually make money? That's just a big question. How do you plan on your videos that you plan to produce to make money? Is it that you showing up consistently is going to lead people to click on your link tree on Instagram? Is it going to be that your videos are going to be talking about something that you are passionate about, but you have a mini course on, and that's linked in the description below? What is that for you? We actually encourage people to have a money plan with every video they upload. that when you plan out your videos, that there's a money plan connected. This is going to lead to this book. This is going to lead to, sell this product. This is going to lead to our free 1 hour download or whatever it might be. But to have that plan in place is going to help you feel like you're not wasting your time, because a lot of people think that the line of demarcation when it comes to YouTube success is getting your channel monetized. Yeah. I don't believe this is true. You could monetize your channel with your very first upload. You actually can. You have things in the description because you planned before you got started, and therefore, who knows, 100 views to a real estate agent, when 4 people want to work with you from that 100 views, what is the ROI on that video? It's kind of crazy when you actually reverse engineer it.
Hey listeners, if you would like to gain access to the full unedited version of the live stream, you could go ahead and visit onesteppodcast.com/create. I know it will add value to you, and I hope you enjoy.
The second thing I want to encourage you to do is, once you got your plan, it is time to make videos. You actually have to post videos on the internet in order to get it going. I know we conceptualize and we hope and we're getting ready to go all make it all perfect and stuff, but no, you actually have to just boom, upload the videos. And it's duh, Omar, we know that. Well, here, the reason why you need to just go ahead and upload those videos is because there are so many implied tasks when it comes to uploading videos on YouTube or any platform, right? I downloaded TikTok 4 months ago. It's super late to the party, and I'm not even uploading it over there. But it's you got to upload, and then it's you need a cover image, and then it's oh, maybe you should caption this. I got to title this video. So now I got to learn about hashtags. There's just so much around it. And by the way, I hope you feel my bias on YouTube, because I think it is one of the best platforms, and not one of the best, but there's a culture to YouTube. And that culture is learning that you need to convince somebody with curiosity to either click on your video because of the title or click on your video because of your thumbnail. And other social media platforms don't have that, I guess you could say, threshold or challenge. Yeah, you're just served a video on Instagram. But on YouTube, you're actually working for that view, right? With your title and your thumbnail. So I say all that to say, you getting to the point where you're actually just uploading the videos that you're creating is going to get you in the flow. Oh, I need to go from unlisted to public. Oh, I need to put this stuff in the description and write up some of my tags. Yeah. And so there's those implied tasks by actually uploading videos. And so I would even say it's just about having all the things lined up, ready to go when you're actually starting to make those videos. And something about committing to that process is where the awesomeness is, right? I think one of the fastest ways you can increase your value, kind of just as a human being overall, how do you become more valuable, is the acquiring of new skills. Right. There's a lot of people that do the same job for 20 years, and you just did the same thing every day for 20 years and you didn't acquire any skills.
Wow.
I'm even in a place where I'm learning I need to acquire new skills.
Wow.
I need to learn sales. I'm a big organic marketing guy, and I know people are, using paid ads and stuff, or not even paid ads. It's I'm learning about coaches and consultants that have a sales team on their back end, because and I'm dude, sales, teach me the ways, bro. But there's just something powerful about developing and adding more skills to your arsenal. And that only happens with the process. And I'm sorry to tell you that there's no replacement for that. Because even if you were in a place where you can actually pay somebody to make those videos, you still need the skill of marketing. You still need the skill of headline writing. You still need the skill of even just communication. Let's just call it that. Your communications skills on video have to get better. Your editing skills, if you're going to start editing videos, need to get better. So just knowing that the process is actually going to bring you more skills, and what that's actually going to do is make you more valuable, just overall. And to give you that picture, I do feel overwhelmed when I look at articles and stuff about this creative economy, because of the skills that I've possessed and acquired over time are now the skills that the world is kind of wanting the most. And me trying to figure out the way that I can help at the highest capacity. And I feel we're doing a good job at Think Media, but even just Omar, the human being, am I doing everything I can to help as much people as I possibly can, or go deeper with a few people as much as I can? But that all comes back to the idea of just being and committing to that process. So number one, you gotta start with the end in mind. Number two, you just gotta press record, like Sean says in every YouTube video. And then 3 is just the commitment to consistency. Just committing to consistency. There's this quote, and it goes like this: the only cheat code is consistency. Like that's the only cheat code.
You gotta say
down,
that
right.
again. You gotta say that again one more time for the people in the back.
The only cheat code is consistency. Up, down, left, right, square, circle, triangle is the only way. And that honestly is it. You're not trying to go viral. And I would even say, honestly, if you uploaded your first video, and we've heard stories like this, people upload their first video on TikTok or whatever, their first short, and they just blast off and go viral. Well, I would tell you, it doesn't matter if you go viral if you have nothing, if you don't have a consistent foundation around that or under that. Like, the funny thing about virality is they're quickly forgotten about. So that shouldn't even be the goal to begin with. The goal should be consistency. And I tell you what, like, just based off of our experience, like over the last maybe 3 years, I've uploaded a couple hundred videos that are, high quality, great videos on YouTube that'll help you in your journey of creating videos and building an audience on YouTube. Is that the videos I didn't plan on going crazy went crazy. That's just like, but it did take me to just commit to consistency. I show up every week. I make 2 videos a week for the channel. And there are weeks that I don't feel like making videos, but I got to make videos. Like, it's actually in those moments where I know when I make videos, when I don't feel like it, is actually when I'm acquiring a new skill, a skill of perseverance, a skill of self-control, to just not let how I feel or my mood dictate what it is I'm producing. And so I think there's just something so key to that. And I don't think there's a magic formula, like, in the sense that it's just a pre-decision. I'm very passionate about just the idea of wisdom. I read a Proverbs a day, whatever the Proverbs of the day is. There's 31 Proverbs, so I read whatever it is in the morning. But wisdom there's 2 levels to wisdom, right? The first level of wisdom is knowing good from bad. I think a lot of people are there. They can determine what good and bad is. I think most people are there. But the next level of wisdom is knowing what's good from what's best, right? The skill of pre-deciding in your life, and I think this goes beyond just making videos and doing all cool content stuff, but like, before you get married, pre-decide that I'm not going to let this fail. Before you embark on this content creation journey, pre-decide that you're going to make 1 video a week, whatever that may be for you. And some sub tips, maybe you're a busy person. I would say some ways to actually achieve consistency would be scheduling your content in advance. Whether that's taking time to just write down those topics, write down those ideas, do some research, start typing in your keywords that you want to own. If you post consistent content around a specific keyword, over time, you will become the authority over that keyword. It just is what happens when you show up consistently around a keyword. So, here's a cool resource. Answerthepublic.com is a cool resource. You just type in a keyword there and it's going to write out, hundreds of questions around that keyword. And then you could frame up titles based off of that or video ideas off of that. You can also go in the Google search bar, put in your keyword, hit the space bar and see what people are searching. You could put your keyword, space bar, article, and then hit enter. This is just free game I'm giving everybody. And then you can see all the articles that you're served up on Google. Those are great video ideas. But if you type in keywords like YouTube Studio, video podcast, best camera for YouTube, dude, I freaking own that space like it's no one's business. But it's because I show up more than a couple times a year and make videos around that idea or that keyword. So number 1 to posting more consistently is schedule that content in advance. Number 2 is to just batch produce the entire process of video creation, right? So when you do schedule content, batch schedule your content. That, like, you could plan out 2 months worth of video ideas and reverse engineer all that back. And then you're going to batch shoot. You're going to shoot as much as you can in one sitting. I think longer the days where you are just producing 1 video every time you sit down. I think you've got to just get over that kind of like that limiting belief that I can only make 1 video when I sit down. I think you can actually make at least 2. Like right now I have a camera filming me on the side because I don't want this interview to go to waste and I want to use these moments to be posted on Instagram. So like I am always trying to maximize what I can when I'm sitting down creating content. Wow. And then the third way to be more consistent is just repurpose your content. Yep. You know, if you're making longer form videos, you can repurpose that stuff into YouTube Shorts, into Instagram Reels, or even make them into shorter YouTube videos. You know, if you're making 20-minute videos that have different segments in it, then you can actually, you know, cut those out and create different YouTube videos out of it. And we teach all this stuff on our channel, the Think Media, as well as the Think Media podcast. I would encourage you to subscribe to both of those channels wherever you listen to podcasts. We are just fully committed at giving you free content or free value. And in the event, if you want to go deeper, you totally can. Just check out the links in the description. We have a web class to learn YouTube strategy, the way we think is the best way to grow on YouTube. We'll be having a YouTube 1K challenge in a few weeks from now. That's a free 1-week challenge. Just go on our YouTube channel and we'll promote it there. It'll be on the description. But that's kind of how you can actually commit, you know, have a consistent schedule. There are just weeks where, you know, I don't want to show up, but here's what's powerful. I don't mean to like get all preachy and stuff, but since it's not YouTube, I can get all preachy because I don't know where this is actually going. And I get a sense that you know what's up. So, you know, Jesus was limited in his body. He would say that. He actually couldn't be everywhere at every place. He wasn't omnipresent, right? He actually told his disciples, yo, fellas, it's better that I leave because when I go, the Holy Spirit will come upon all of you. And then you can actually go into the world and make other disciples. Like, it's better that he left because he was limited in his body. I'm not saying you're Jesus at all, and I'm not saying you're the Holy Spirit, okay? But I am saying that when you commit to this thing, you can actually serve more people in less time. Like when you commit to this thing, it's actually better that you share your value and share what you've experienced and share what you're trying to do online via video because you can accomplish more in video. One of the most powerful stats I think about Think Media is that we get 300,000 views every 48 hours, rain or shine, whether we upload a video or not. We are meeting 300. That's how much people are spending time with us. And, you know, when I go to these live events, a lot of people feel like they know me because they've spent so much time with me. And that's just the power of video. Like, it's insane that, like, video, I call it the great digital handshake. Like, we met because I showed up when you were looking for something most, and I helped you get from point A to point B. That's like an awesome deposit that you can kind of get credit for in somebody's journey, whether it is whatever you do, cooking, real estate, you know, sewing, DIY projects, or what have you, that you can actually be a part of somebody's journey. And I think it's very powerful. And I end with these last thoughts. You know, we live in a world where visibility beats ability. Okay. So the person that's actually really good at marketing, and by marketing, the person that's actually just showing up consistently on video, I actually think beats the person that's more talented that isn't committing to this new form of communication. I believe content creation is the newest language that the world is now speaking. It used to be cursive. Like, we used to have to learn cursive in elementary school, but they actually stopped teaching cursive because it was irrelevant. I think it's been replaced with learning how to speak into a camera, learning how to tell a story, but knowing that visibility beats ability. And I bet you probably feel that. You feel that with somebody that shows up on your timeline that's kind of doing the thing that you feel like you could be doing, and it kind of makes you mad, kind of gets you like, man, I could be doing that. Like, you could be, like, you know, like, but as long as they're showing up consistently, like, they all have more authority than you. They have, and I'm not saying they do, but that's what it does psychologically. That's what I love so much about video. I love that video has a more deeper effect than what happens at face value. Like, there's a psychological effect that comes when you show up consistently on video talking about the same thing. You know, people think I am the authority when it comes to video, but no, there's probably hundreds of thousands of people that could be the authority, but it's because I just showed up. But the psychological effect that happens, it's like, dang, that dude's legit. Like, what he's doing is legit. And dude, I'm just a husband, father, love my family, love my church family, love my wife. Like, I'm a regular person. But the only thing that makes you think that is simply because I show up more than somebody else does, right? And so I would encourage you with the idea that visibility is your responsibility. So not only does visibility beat ability, but visibility is your responsibility. Whether you're a believer or not, I would just, you know, one cool thing that Jesus told his disciples was, you are the light of the world. Don't hide yourself. I believe that the problem that we are seeing today is not that it's so dark, that there's just darkness in the world. I actually think it's just that people aren't shining their light.
Wow.
Like, It's not good people being bad. No, it's not. It's good people not shining their light.
Wow.
And so visibility is your responsibility. You've been commissioned by Jesus Christ to like be a light in the world.
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds self-serving sometimes when I say that, like, God's intention for your life is to be seen. But if you have the right motives, and if you're doing it to serve and help people and help an audience, I believe that you can be rewarded by being seen by a lot of people. And it's just powerful. And so, yeah, I mean, and here's, okay, this is the last thing I promise.
No,
I promise.
you're
It's
good.
like the end
Dude,
of
you
my-
take that as
All
much
right.
time as you want.
No, I want to get into some Q&A, but this is a crazy revelation. I'm going to give credit to Pastor Alan Dio. His church has a cool YouTube channel, but he shared this thought, and I thought it was so profound. If you aren't aware of this, there is what is called the 7 mountains of influence. Okay? There is, on that 7 mountains of influence, you have family, you have religion, education, entertainment, business, government, and media. Whether you know it or not, whatever it is you do in life, you are at the bottom or climbing up one of those mountains, okay? And I would encourage you to pick a mountain. Pick a mountain that you want to influence. Do you want to help families? Do you want to help religion? Do you want to help education? Do you want to be a part of entertainment, business, or government, or media? This is just a foundational thought, but this is the world we live in today. Media is no longer the mountain. There is now only 6 mountains. Why? Because media is the ski lift to get you up every single one of the other mountains.
Wow.
That you actually can't build an influence within one of those mountains without using video and media. So long were the days where it was just television and newspapers. No, it's you being the television and the newspaper for whatever mountain you're trying to influence. What a crazy time that we live in, that you actually have the power to influence families and influence different faiths, influence the education, idea, or even just academia altogether, influence entertainment. It's crazy to think that you can be an artist, whether you're a rapper or a country singer, and you can actually use media to climb up that entertainment mountain. Insane. Maybe it's business. Maybe you've done something and over time and you've found success, whether it's flipping homes or, whatever it is. But sharing what you've done on video will actually give you influence for the business mountain. And when it comes to government, I'm just saying, dude, the person that has the strongest marketing branding in regards to the videos, I believe wins. Yeah. That's just the world we live in. And so no longer is media the mountain of influence. I believe it's the ski lift to get up and influence the other mountains. I hope that encourages you. I hope you're fired up to get started and to know that you're not starting alone. You're starting with resource. Everything we do, we literally, Think Media exists to help you build your influence. And so I would encourage you to use us, lean on us. You could follow me on Instagram. I do my best, and I think I do a pretty good job at answering pretty much almost every DM that comes my way. And it's because I know I signed up for this. I signed up for helping people. And so I'm not going to be just like a creator that throws videos into the interwebs and not give feedback where people are looking for it. And so I encourage you to follow us and subscribe to us. And also if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, but hope that encourages you. There you go. 3 tips on how to start creating content.
Man, there's just, that's so much to be said from that. I mean, I'm still trying to digest it all. And Omar, thank you. Thank you for just sharing and adding value to us to learn from your story, from all that you learned from your journey, from your story, and giving such practical input, advice on how we could get started. A few points that really stuck out to me from your talk is, one, again, congratulations to your wife on getting the real estate exam. I'm encouraged just to see how, even as a mom, she still decided to take a step, to take a different career change and to do something new, to do something different. And I love how you both started out with a purpose. I know you share the platform with Anthony O'Neill, another creator, influencer. And one thing that he says often is, when it comes to your why, is that you should have a why that makes you cry. Otherwise, the price of commitment will. And
100.
Obviously, you both have a strong purpose as far as to why you're doing this. And it leads you to putting the time and effort and being consistent through all the times where I'd rather not. Another creator named Ruslan, he says often that we live in a time where there's no longer a need for a middleman. I mean, his experience was within the music industry. And what was it traditionally? You had to get a label to sign you. You had to be in there on these traditional platforms. And that was before iTunes came around. Then once streaming came around, it's a whole different story. And now, as you mentioned best, you could leverage media, YouTube, and all these other different platforms where you no longer need a middleman. You have a direct connection to people.
And and not only just a middleman, you also don't need permission.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a network co-signing or de-signing whatever it is you're going to put out. Like YouTube, make a Gmail account and start uploading videos. It's kind of like a crazy, it sounds so elementary, but it is a crazy thought that you don't need permission to actually create content.
Exactly. And so I hope that's encouraging for someone today that, man, what an opportunity. Since you brought it up, the words of Jesus, he also says that, hey, that, we weren't meant to put a light under a lampstand under a basket. But that, man, our lampstand was meant, as you said best, meant to shine so that people can glorify God, our Father, and so forth. Man, I say all that because whether you're a person of faith or not, I still believe this. What an opportunity we have to take a step, to make an impact, to create a change. We don't have to wait for one day, but we can start now, wherever you're at. And so if your passion is to educate parents when it comes to the medical field and how to take care of the children, or do business in a new way where it's not slimy, and you want to be a visual example for others on what's possible, whether in real estate or so forth, man, what an opportunity we have now. And as you said best, we no longer need permission. This is definitely something worth revisiting. Again, thank you so much for you and your team for trailblazing that we no longer have to figure it out on our own, but there is a community who's been there before us and where we can start and stand on the shoulders on. Well, hey friends, there is so much to digest from this conversation. As I mentioned, we are celebrating my birthday. If you found value in this at all, I would love for you to be a partner to contribute towards this fundraiser for Charity Water. An easy link that you can visit is onesteppodcast.com/Charity Water, and that'll redirect you to a specific page in Charity Water's page. In light of this stream, create a change. This is an opportunity where we can all take one step and make an impact together. With that being said, thank you all so much, and I'm definitely looking forward to the impact we are going to make together. Much love, y'all. Take care.